Now we are going to jump into the next one, and surprise, it's me again. It seems like I'm also on the other following session.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you, and I have a matchmaking.
I think we are starting with Tom Strodeback. Is that correct, Tom?
That is very much correct. Yes, thank you.
Is it? Okay, because it's slightly different on the agenda. I wasn't sure which one to go with.
The story of my life, it's fine. But yeah, Tom Strodeback. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. And we are ready for you. I don't want us to make it more delayed, but if you can share your slides with us.
And I'm hoping you're seeing them now.
Yes, we are. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. And it's great to be here. And forgive me, I'm going to give the presentation. We have as I work at a university, Liverpool John Moores University, we have a big startup event, our first networking event. And my network coordinator, Lynn, broke her ankle. So I am outside the event giving this presentation, but I'll have to jump back in and take care of our professional network. And it's really, she's done such a great job, and it's such a great event, and I feel so bad she can't be here. But again, my name is Tom Strodeback. I'm with Liverpool John Moores University. And the reason I'm here is actually just to give some of my background very quickly, is I've been working kind of in the startup community since the mid-1990s. I don't think I would have called it a startup then. The first company I worked for that was like a real company, like a real job, was called AmeriHost Inns, and it was a startup hotel chain, believe it or not, in the United States. And I had joined them around the time that they were trying to scale. And it's really hard, and it's all these strategic decisions to make. And I was just kind of a manager in that company, and I wasn't quite aware of what was going on. And now I kind of look back and think, oh, those were challenging. I know this organization through my relationship with NBIA, which I was a director for about 10 years. And then after that, I was a co-founder of a company in Dubai called Global Growth Hub, which is kind of what it sounds like. We helped companies that want to go overseas, access new markets, did a lot of work in and around Kuwait, did work in a lot of the MENA region. My partner, Omar, was originally from Egypt, so spoke Arabic and kind of made that market accessible to us. And so did a lot of different things. And then finally, I joined the staff here where I run the entrepreneurship program for Liverpool John Moores University in Liverpool, England, about 27,000 students, and also do the consultant titles. I do a lot of consulting with our faculty. So they'll bring me in and I'll talk about how they can introduce the concept of entrepreneurship to what they do. So I was thinking about the theme of this section, and I was trying to think, okay, can I think of anything new to talk about when we talk about money? Because there's a lot of information out there. And when we think about money for founders, this is kind of what we think about. We think about these 5 areas. And forgive me if you can hear all that noise in the background because there's students kind of running around me. We think about the 3 F's, the family, friends, and fools. That's raising money from your family, your friends to get started. We also have the possibility of raising grant financing. Some of the work I did, for instance, in the West Bank, which I'm currently working in, a lot of those entrepreneurs are funded by grants. Debt might be, potentially. In some markets, it's not a possibility, but some markets it is. And usually entrepreneurs at some point will use a credit facility or some sort of banking facility to help fund their business. I couldn't find an icon for venture capital, so I thought I'd use the Financial Times as my venture capital thing, because I read it every day and it's good. But there is the venture capital. I'm not sure if they'd be happy that I represented them by venture capital. And then there's the kind of the rare, but very, very common, not rare, but rarely talked about, very, very common way of raising money, which is to grow it, right? To start a business and use cash flow to grow your company. And what I thought I'd do is kind of think about each one, because each one has a risk, right? And each one has a moral hazard potentially. And so I thought I would talk about that moral hazard of transferring the responsibility of the success of a company to somebody else, or to somebody else's balance sheet or something else, that allows a founder to not necessarily focus on the most important things, but focus on risk or take more risk or whatever, because they all have that kind of moral hazard. When you think about the first two, when you are using other people's money, sometimes you find entrepreneurs that lack the seriousness or the market drive. Maybe seriousness might not be fair, but the market drive may very well be fair. They're not really driving their company into a marketplace where they can get to the ultimate goal of every entrepreneur, which is somebody on the other side of the table or the other side of the software or the other side of the marketplace that says, yes, I want that. Yes, I'll buy that. I will pay you to do that thing, or I'll pay you to provide that thing to me. I, in my experience, have found that often these two sources of funds can be a hindrance to that. And in some markets, the grant mechanisms that are given will often encourage the development of a group of entrepreneurs that focus almost exclusively on grants. This is not to say that either of these things are bad, by the way. There's definitely reasons why you would look for grant financing, particularly in deeper technology, science-based technologies, where you really do need the funds to do really basic proof of concept work. And families fund companies all over the world. But as a person who works for entrepreneurs, I kind of work with my students. I'm trying to help them reduce the risk, and I want them to think about it. This is now on your balance sheet. We give a grant. This is now on your balance sheet. How are you going to use it? How are you going to convert it into value? Or is it just going to buy you time and you're going to waste that time and use it in a non-effective way? There's also, in the institutions that finance entrepreneurs, other ways that moral hazard could happen. We know of these stories of founders who have raised a lot of venture capital and have burned through it really quickly without really generating a business model that's sustainable. WeWork is probably the best known of those companies that raised a lot of money, got that SoftBank money, flew around the world, was changing people's consciousness, but was never really changing the real estate market in a sense that it could make money in the places that it had opened. And I'll tell you, I worked out of a WeWork in London for a long time. It was really nice. I loved it. It was great. It just didn't make any money. That was one of the problems with WeWork, probably the biggest problem. There's also the reciprocal thing too with venture capital and with other kind of financing mechanisms. Is the venture capitalist really thinking about duty of care? Are they focused on the welfare of the entrepreneurs? Are they the right venture capitalists can really open the doors that the entrepreneurs need and so on? Or is it a local angel that is more experienced in real estate and looking for 10 to 12% return? Those are the kinds of the challenges. And then you get into the kind of the broader world that can be an issue with venture capital, which is the financialization of the startup community, where they're really looking for assets that they can financialize and not necessarily thinking about the success of the entrepreneur, the community that they live in, and seeing that community, whether it's Kuwait City or Liverpool or whatever, be successful. So those are the kind of moral hazards that I thought, oh, we can talk about that. Obviously, the one that seems to lack that is if you're building a business from the ground up and you're generating your own revenues early. That's not always possible. Certainly certain technologies you can't do that with. And at the same time, all the things that I talked about are really important to the community. Tons of businesses were funded that very successful that we use were funded by the family that back their family member entrepreneur. Grants are super important. I know that some of our technology companies just wouldn't have been successful at Innovate UK grants, as an example. They are an essential component of the ecosystem. I think banks can do a lot more in supporting entrepreneurs. Frankly, I don't, that's one of my comments here. I don't know about where the audience is, but I know in the UK, I've met with banks and I'm like, I get what you're saying, but that's not really what they need. They need credit facilities. They need cash flow based on their receivables. They need you to make it easier. You know, that kind of that truth of, you owe the bank $10,000, it's your problem. You owe the bank $10 million, it's the bank's problem. That seems to be how they operate. And obviously, there are a lot of excellent VCs that help entrepreneurs. So that's what I thought I'd just kind of share. I hope that was something that was reasonably interesting. And the last thing I will say is that regardless of the financing, regardless of the funding, and I wish I could quote the person, I think it was a man named Bill Aulett. If you're familiar with the MIT entrepreneurship community, I heard Bill give a podcast, actually. It was really good for Harvard, which is right next door to MIT. He wrote a book called The Disciplined Entrepreneur, if you're looking for a really interesting book on entrepreneurship. And one of the things he said in that, and I've been working with entrepreneurs for 20 years and I never really put it the way, so easy, one of those things that are really easy to think about, but you've never put it that way. He said, when I'm looking at a company, when I ask the founders, is this, for that company to be successful, what do you have to be really good at? What is the thing or the things you must be good at for this company to be successful? And that might be a mechanism which we think, okay, to be good at that thing, do you need external funding? And then what is the appropriate funding you need to be good at whatever it is you've decided to launch? It's funny, I was on my way to work today, I was in the taxi, and a young guy, student, driving a cab, driving an Uber on the side, he says, I've got this great idea. I want to be, because I want to tell them what they do. Hey, let me pick your brain. Okay. I've only got 5 minutes, but I'll tell you what I think. And, he said he wanted to get into food. And it was really that conversation. Okay, what is the thing you are really good at to make the magic happen? And he's like, well, I'm really good at Caribbean food. And I think it should be something that isn't fried, because a lot of Caribbean food is fried. So I make it healthy, right? And he's discovered really the idea that he can now pursue and be great at. Then he can think about the funding. So yeah, that's my presentation. I really appreciate being invited here. I'm sorry I can't be there. I've never been to Kuwait. I've been kind of in the region. I think close. I've been to Iraq. I did some work in Kurdistan for a while, and I've been in obviously Palestine, West Bank, and Saudi and UAE, but never over in Kuwait. So I would love an invitation to see your beautiful country. But anyway, thank you very much, and yeah, hope that was.
Thank you, Tom. This was, yes, very timely, and you were on time also. Thank you for that as well. I haven't been to Kuwait either, but maybe we can charter something to there next year, and we can go all together. That would be wonderful. But thank you for
very much time for that. Yeah, and I'm
would you be able to stay and wait until the end until we get the questions for you, or?
I will. So what I'll do is I'll try to hop back in. And unfortunately, like I said, I lost the person that's running the event. Sure. So I'm now the only person that can run it. And so I got some people to kind of cover, say, some time during my presentation. But if I can get the questions another way, if I'm not back, if I get the questions another way, I'd be happy to answer them online or through the app or whatever. My apologies.
No, that's okay. So you won't be joining back in like 30 minutes or so.
I don't think so, but if I can,
you don't think so? Okay.
And I'll give you away.
Okay. In that case, if anyone has any questions, quickly, maybe we can complete it and then move to the next person. Anyone?
Yeah, I can answer some questions.
You were so clear that nobody has any questions, but I have.
Okay, go ahead.
You mentioned, Tom, duty of care, right? Mm-hmm. Could you please any example, how or what specifically could be done about the lack of duty of care? Any example?
Well, from the entrepreneurship perspective, I think it's difficult when you're an entrepreneur and you only have one source or two sources of funding, and one of the sources is not very good. And I'm thinking about some of the companies I've worked with that have raised money, raised venture capital, but they've raised it from a source that didn't necessarily know the market. There was a friend of mine, actually a scientist, PhD, that developed a technology that was able to predict tidal flows more accurately, which had the potential to save shipping companies a significant amount of money, because their ships wouldn't be like idling outside a port waiting for the tide to come in. They could plan their trip more effectively and use less energy. And his first round of money had I think they took 30% of equity, which is really high. It's too high. It's very, very difficult to raise money after that. And the funders, the venture capitalists, had really not a great deal of knowledge about the shipping industry, but they just kind of wanted to get in. They offered these terms that were onerous, and the company wasn't successful. So it's probably on the entrepreneur more than anything else. Now, I think, and you've certainly met investors. We used to take a group of about 150 investors to GITEX, if you know GITEX in Dubai, big tech show, and I talked to them and interviewed them and things like that. Responsible investors know their duty of care. They know, I'm not going to invest in a thing that I can't help, right? I'm not going to invest in a thing that I don't know. In fact, they'd say that's their biggest problem. I only invest in AI, and people bring me fintech, and if it's not AI fintech, it's not what I'm not interested. I can't help you. They have a sense of duty of care. But for the entrepreneur, they got to think about it. Like, they have to think, is this money the appropriate thing for me? Is it going to solve a problem? Is it going to de-risk my company in a meaningful way that I'll be ready for the next round, or I'll be over that hurdle, can grow or whatever. That's kind of my short, it's not really short answer, actually. Sorry.
Thank you, Tom. So we are all wishing good luck with your work, and I hope she's going to get better soon, your colleague. And
she broke her ankle,
yeah, thank
so
you for being with us, and hopefully next time we'll see you again here.
I hope so too.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Sure. Okay, now I'm not saying, is Cihan Farahat here? Oh, okay, I see. Now I see. Okay. Cihan, can you hear me? Or Dr. Farahat? You need to unmute yourself. Oh, hello. We cannot hear you as of yet. You need to unmute yourself, please. You need to unmute yourself. We are not able to hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, and now it's okay. You hear me?
Yes, it's perfect now.
Hello. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you? Good seeing you here.
Thank you.
I say Cihan, but am I correct?
Yes, Cihan. Yes, Cihan.
Okay. I can call you Dr. Farahat?
Yeah, Cihan. It's just Cihan.
Cihan is good. Okay, you can call me Naz. Welcome. I hope everything is good. Where you're joining us from?
From Egypt. I am from Egypt now.
Okay. What time is it now there?
I'm so happy because I enjoy this fantastic conference with many fantastic expert person also.
Yes,
I would like to talk today about how we can the new technology with IPR protection, like innovation and the creation, how we can protect our children and our people from new technology. New technology, they have two sides. The good side, she help in many things, and make everything more fast, and they make everything more easy. And even in the branch of innovation and the creation, they can innovate the thing also. For example, before we have the company for perfume, she say to make new test or new perfume for 10 years, to make too much test and too much try, to have only one test of perfume. Now with the technology and new technology, like we see Robert and the stuff like this, they can make for 10 minutes, for half an hour. They will have new kind of perfume and the new kind of essence different. This one company in Brazil, she talk about this. She say, I'm not the one I make my perfume now. This is the new technology, and the Robert, this is the one he make for me. I gave him the name or what essence, jasmine or sugar perfume or whatever, and he can make for me many things. The another thing also, now we find he make everything like journalists, for example, they say, if I need to write very quickly and very good report for the journal or the magazine, I can just give the name, and he make everything for me and collect all the new information and the good information for me and they give it to me. So with the time, you will find that the people, they cannot have the power to make new innovation. The new innovation for human, we need to protect it. We need to teach our children in school and also in university or whatever, count in your mind first, and after you go for the new technology to make for you your job. For example, also now inside the university and the school, the teacher, she gives some research for the student. Before us, we make this kind of research. We make it very good, and we have hard time to collect all the information to make it by your own or mind. Now, many people, what they try to make, they count on new technology. Give the order for the report or GP or stuff like this. He will make it for him and very good and bring all the information in all the world. It's not only in Egypt, and he can give it for the teacher. With the time, we have some afraid about the human innovation and human creativity. The patent, even the patent now, we have many kind of patent make it by robot, not by person. They say from 50 years ago, they have before this kind of idea, but they make it like secret way. Some innovator person, he count in new technology and robot person to make for him all his patent and stuff like this. But now, even some lawyer in America, they try to make some case to give the power as patent for the report. And we have very good luck because the tribunal, he refused. He say, we give the patent for the human, for the person, not for the machine. You understand what I say? So it's mean what this? It's mean we have really some afraid about our pure innovation and the creation in our future, not only now. I know he gets so fast, but after 10 years, what will happen for the innovator person? He is still working by his mind, or he count a robot technology, very high knowledge to make for him what he want to make. This is something really, we start to be so exciting about new technology and robot and the new kind of robot to help the people for everything, for all the, for the engineering, for the hospitality, for the bank, even now journalists, in TV, in everywhere. So we ask, what will happen for the human after 5-10 years? I think it is something we must a little bit worry about. And we put rules, we must put rules how we can control this kind of thing to have our human innovation and creation forever. I don't want after 50 years we will be not here, but yeah, the people after us, they will see before we have human innovation and the creation. It will be like past. No, we want to put some rules and some condition which time we can go for the new technology and robot and the old GP and the stuff like this, and which time we can stop and we say no, we just want the innovation from this boy or this girl or this man or this woman. We don't want for robot. This is something really we must be put it in mind to cover it in our great conference today. From the staff, also, I would like to say we must give our knowledge for this kind of innovation and the creation and the future of new technology for our children in the school. It will be like a book to study, to understand all the progress, what happened from the start until now, and also to open many ideas for our children, how they can act and use this kind of new technology. Because if you see now, you will see all our children run for TikTok and Face and another Telegram, Instagram, other all this kind and all this name of the technology. So they lost many time, and even sometimes maybe they will catch some information is not for them age. If you remember before, we are very young, we have limit for information. At 5 years old, he have some sort of information. 7, another, he give him more information for the life, for the things, for the method, for everything. Then, so it's very important to protect our children from free and open information for everywhere, from all the TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, and another new thing for the world, and to teach them how we can control this. I don't know. In Egypt, maybe the parents, they work hard behind the children to control all this stuff. But in a school, how they can control? In a club, how they can control? Inside the training, if he go training football or piscine with his friends, how we can control? So this also we must we try to put some rules and to take care about our children in this kind of period. My time, it's okay. I know
we have one more presentation, Rehan, and we will get questions at the end.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, we can continue with the next presenter, and then we can get the questions. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions.
Yes,
this is a very important subject, but thank you for sharing your insights. And yeah, this is very important, and I'm sure there will be questions. If not, I have questions. So if you can stay with us a little bit, that would be wonderful. Okay. Thank you again.
So enough. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you are with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Next, we have Isaiah Engelbrecht. And Isaiah, you can introduce yourself. I'm not introducing each individual person here, but you're more than free to do so. Where are you joining us from?
Hi, good evening. Yes, well, I shouldn't say good evening. I should say greetings, the different time zones. I'm joining from South Africa, and we are just 1 hour behind Kuwait, currently 6:30 at the moment. Yeah.
6:30 p.m., yes. Here right now, 11:30 a.m. I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, hectic.
Yes, I'm still having my coffee.
Well, yeah, hectic, enjoy.
Okay, thank you for being with us. Do you have some slides to share with us? Or
yes, I do.
Okay, you could do that.
Let me just check. Is it sharing?
Yes, we are able to see it. You can, yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. I'm just going to switch off my camera for the presentation to save bandwidth. Okay, it's refusing to. Let me continue. Should I just dive in?
You can start your presentation. Yes, thank you.
Are you able to? Okay, thank you. Well, yeah, thank you very much to all the organizers and Dr. Anadi, all the effort you went through to put this together. With a few minutes today, I really reflected quite hard on what I should be speaking about, looking at this topic, fueling innovation and creating access to finance. Because I have been in the innovation landscape over many years, government, private sector, and internationally. But the last couple of years, I worked with a municipality, a specific city, the city of Tshwane. I thought this may be relevant just to focus on the journey there with moving some of our innovators and entrepreneurs to finance. Sorry, my machine is acting up, but I think I'm getting there. Apologies for that. There we go. So this presentation is really looking at the critical role of municipalities, cities in fueling innovation, and then how to support entrepreneurs on their journey, especially with access to finance. To kick off my presentation, I think it's important just to introduce those who are not familiar with the word Ubuntu, which I think is a very important platform for us, and it really fuels innovation in the areas where we drive it. And Ubuntu really comes from isiZulu. It says umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu, meaning a person is a person of or because of other people. That mindset we see everywhere. We need each other to be human. This is essentially what this is saying. And with that said, when we practice innovation, because whenever you engage people in our communities, in the city where I am, or broadly speaking in South Africa, people have this notion of saying, I need to help others. And I think that sets a foundation for us with innovation. On this slide, Prof, I don't need to go into much detail, but it was just very interesting when you look at the linkages of Ubuntu and 5IR, or we can even say AI. Because in this presentation, I won't be touching on AI. We've had a lot of presentations on that. But really, from a human-centric focus, if you look at 5R, its premise that's there to enhance human lives, it aligns very well with the idea that Ubuntu underscores. 5R speaks about collaboration, again, aligning with Ubuntu, etc. So I think because of this foundation, when we launch innovation initiatives, especially open innovation, we tend to get good engagement between people. Now, with that context, we have a powerful opportunity to leverage collective intelligence and support. I hear myself. Is my machine... Prof, am I still clear and everything on your side?
Yes, we are able to see everything. It says the opportunity for municipalities.
Perfect. So with that background of Ubuntu, there's a vast opportunity for municipalities or cities to leverage off innovation. I'm using this example of the city where I'm based, city of Tshwane, and that I work with over 4 million citizens, 23,000 employees. But if you look at the ecosystem, broadly speaking, in the municipality, there's major universities, a lot of actors in terms of funding for innovation, over 130 embassies located here in the city. The challenge is with connecting those actors or role players to get value from innovation. And I think therein lies a significant opportunity. You would see silver member there in the top right-hand corner. Our city yesterday was recognized for how we structure innovation according to the ISO 56001 standards. And I think it's because of that structuring that one sees results. I'm then saying municipalities and other cities should leverage off this. Now, this is a strategy we followed that I'm not going to dive in. I'm just going to focus on the third pillar for this presentation, saying that as municipalities, we need to open our doors and create platforms for entrepreneurs, innovators, inventors to come and test, pilot, and demonstrate their solutions in the environment. And I'm going to share one or two examples around it. Because otherwise, how do entrepreneurs scale their solutions and access funding if the municipalities are closed door? This you would have seen is part of our strategy, one of the key pillars, and it produced real results. Let me just touch on this first example, where this is really at the grassroots level. We went into this community and had 6 workshops around creativity and innovation and looking at how we can fuel innovation. So attendees came over 70, of which 60% plus was unemployed. And really the discovery there was when you engage people, you teach them about creativity and innovation, it's like there's a light that comes on, aha moment. They didn't realize that they can be creative and come up with solutions. Long story short, part of their journey, we launched the challenge, innovation challenge, and we said, come up with solutions for your community problems. 24 submissions were received. The picture that you see there, that's the 9 finalists, the top 9. What's interesting, the man in the middle, number 1, he came out of retirement at 76 because he said he had an idea years ago and he didn't do anything with it. Because of the workshops, he now came and he presented his idea and is now developing a prototype. The lady listed number 3 in her late 60s had an idea for over 40 years and she didn't do anything with it. So with this, I'm just saying, as this community, it's critical for us to go to the lowest level, grassroots, and encourage people to come up with ideas. We had like a Dragon's Den, they pitched, the winners were announced, 3 businesses so far registered, others being developed, and we had funders there. Not a lot of funding required, but now these community members, instead of feeling hopeless, they are building something. With that journey, a lot of spin-offs. When you do this kind of things, many partners come on board and many came to sponsor and assist the community. But let me just get to this example quickly. I know there's limited time. As the city, we launched about 3 years ago an inter-university challenge. We went through to the 3 major universities in the city and say, we need service delivery solutions. And at the bottom, those were our partners. And we challenged the students and we gave them these areas to say, we need ideas to solve these problems. 164 good ideas were submitted during that period. And interestingly, again, with that journey, we saw fascinating solutions that really solve service delivery problems, lower cost, implementable. And a few of those are now being piloted in the city. Some are still in incubation. But what was interesting, out of about 12 of them registered businesses, and I don't know if this is a good thing, Prof, but some left their studies to say, I'm going to focus on my business. And we'll see how that goes. But that's the level of excitement that this generated. We were supported by the French Embassy and we became part of the Blue Ocean Awards. With this slide, I'm simply saying that community to unearth these the value in municipalities is important, because what you see here, these are the actors, representatives from funding agencies, universities, the city, not all, but some of the role players that played a critical role to make this happen. These students, that's an example out of this challenge. 3 of them last year went across to France to present their solutions on a global platform, seeking funding from international investors, and they're now growing their business. Without this type of support from a municipality, they wouldn't have done this. So I'm saying we have a critical role as leaders, even at the local government level, to support innovators. I'll just share this last example, Prof. This is Paseka. He grew up in Tshwane, in a rural area, and a few years ago, about 6 years ago, he's not a technical person. He was living with his grandmother and saw that the bathroom, the toilet specifically, is leaking. He became curious and did some calculations of what's the impact of the leak. And he saw that it's a significant number of liters of water wasted, and scaled it up with the community, broadly the Tshwane and nationally. And then he found partnerships to say, let's develop a solution that he called the leakless valve to prevent any toilet from leaking and wasting water. He developed the solution with the partners. Like I said, he's not technical, and he approached the city and said, I've got the solution, but I need to test it because I can't get funding without proving that the solution is valuable. We then gave him access to 800 households. He ran his pilot successfully, scaled it, and now he has a manufacturing plant where the leakless valve is being manufactured. He then secured international funding with one of the key funders, the Massmart Group, and with 40 patents registered globally. And they will assist him. They're currently in the process of assisting him with exporting his solution. Now, here's the thing. Without this level of ecosystem support at local government level, Paseka would have probably still just be in his grandmother's house, not doing much, and yet now he's functioning on a global scale. As I end, just some 4 key points to mention. I think it's important for us to clarify the role of innovation management in the ecosystem, what each role player is supposed to do, and how best to support the entrepreneur. Then I think, like I demonstrated now, we have to create platforms for entrepreneurs to demonstrate the solutions. And what we've seen in the city, if we open our doors, entrepreneurs demonstrate their solutions, funders get involved because they like such solutions. So we have critical roles to play in that regard. Second last, important to celebrate quick wins, and the point of Ubuntu, together we are really stronger, and we need to value people and their contributions. And then lastly, the linkages has to be clarified, and in as much as we're supporting in this way as the city, we're focusing on our key strategy in terms of where we want to go as well and building this community accordingly. Thanks, Prof.
Thank you, Isaiah. A great presentation, very important subject. I'm sure we will have some questions. Now, since we are done with all the presentations for this session, I'd like to open the floor for any discussions, any questions that you may have for both Jehan and Isaiah. Any questions from anybody? Okay, if you do not have any questions, I do have some questions. First, ladies, first, Jehan, are you still here? Jehan?
Hi.
Hi. It might be pretty late right now there, I believe. Thank you for staying with us. I have a question, very important subject you talked about, and this, I'm a faculty member. I teach courses to undergrad and grad students. I know the changes that are happening in our youthful generation when it comes to adopting new technology and usage of AI, etc. So could you please talk about what are some suggestions you can provide us? I know you talked about the problems that are out there for the new generation and upcoming generations possibly. But what specific suggestions are there? Any tools that should be implemented? I know you also mentioned control. How is it possible to control this? And any suggestions?
Yeah, it's very hard. Yeah, it's very hard, really. It's big job to control this kind of problem. But I would like to give one idea. If first, the parents alone is not enough. It must be like big job. The school and the club and the parents and the friends and everyone he contact with the children, because maybe we control in home and after we find problem in school, And maybe we control in school and the parents, and we have problem with the friend. If he stay too much with his friend, maybe he will be the big fun. So you lost everything you make it. You lost your rules, your time. You imagine you protect your children and you get good roles and the stuff, and he will broke all this. So I think this problem is the world problem. It's not only Arabic country or European or American or Asiatic. I think this is something now. Before we make this kind of technology, we don't realize that he will be in our face like this with our children. We think it will be great to have all the information, to make your life easy, to make your work easy, to go all the world from small mobile. This is great, of course, but of course with education and children and baby and stuff like this, I think we must put rules for all the world, how we can control and protect our children with different kind of age from this kind of technology, because he must be human. Other way, I see some example for children. They close the room all the day to play in technology, from here to here to here, because they have many things, little for face and after for games. And the games is problem. The games now is like sick person. Some people is sick by games. He cannot control himself. He don't play games. And even as a doctor, he sees this kind for like drug. Like drug. If he play too much, he cannot control, because the company, they make this kind of games to make attract the person, attract the children to play again and again, and lost all his time to play. After he closed his room, he don't want to talk with no one, no parents, no friend, no person. He wanted just to play, enjoying the technology alone. He have his own world. So how we can progress this? How he can live with the people, not with the machine? How he can be social with the people, with the parents, with the neighbor, with the friends? We must make rules and put some condition how we can leave our children to play. For example, like I can approve for my boy to play 1 hour by the day with the control. For example, if you make your devoir, you will play half an hour. But I cannot give him the mobile and the laptop to play all the day, for example, or 3-4 hours by day. He will lose his mind with the time. So this thing we must make like a special society to take care about this kind of problem. And we don't stop to try and try, because this he will not stop. But with the time, he will be more dangerous, because technology is more high and more fast for everything. So you will have more and more high problem with the children. So these the two working together, they not work alone.
Yes, Joan, definitely a worldwide issue. Definitely.
Yeah, we must make another conference for this kind of problem.
Yes, it's a worldwide issue, and yes, I think we are going to have a long time to be able to handle this problem. I don't think we'll be able to resolve it right here.
Yes,
and also, international global regulation will be another challenge. I think you should come back next year and maybe we can continue the conversation.
Thank you,
I'm not saying the solution will be there.
Yes, it's right.
We can at least continue the conversation. Thank you so much. I have one last question. If anyone has any questions, by the way, I don't want to take away from that, but to Isaiah, we have about 6 more minutes. And I see my dear colleague, Professor Michael Bosler is here for his session. So
we enjoy so
one
much.
last question I have for Isaiah. John, if you don't mind muting yourself, because there is a lot of static noise in the background. If you could mute yourself, that would be wonderful. Yeah, thank you.
Like this? Like this?
No, muting because the technology is not helping us here. Thank you. So Isaiah, that was a very important subject that you covered, supporting the local individuals. Some of them were underemployed or unemployed. I think you mentioned that. I wonder how long it has been since this initiative went into place, and did you get a chance of seeing what's happening over time with these individuals after they complete this program, receive the award, they go back and continue with their work with that innovative idea, or can you give us some kind of information on that if you have any? Maybe it's new. I don't know how long it has been since you put it together.
We are actually in the second round, so it's been at least 4 years now. One of the challenges we've observed, broadly speaking, in the ecosystem is that you have all these innovation competitions. People apply, they get an award, and they apply for the next one. And that's how they generate income. We never get to see the impact of the award. With our innovation strategy as the city, we said there's a clear pathway. We give them the problems, our major challenges. When the solutions are developed, we're part of it. So post the award, we have 2 partners at one of our universities and at our innovation hub, where the top finalists go into those programs. And we develop the solutions until it's ready to come into the city. And whether it's vehicles, electricity, or whatever it may be, we give them then a platform to pilot and demonstrate the impact of the solution. Now, Prof, what we've seen with that is quite often when we do that, the funding agencies come on board because they see it as a real opportunity. But secondly, if once they've demonstrated it, it's easy for them to scale their businesses. Then they go into other municipalities and even international platforms with those solutions. So the ones we've worked with, out of the 12 finalists, there's probably 4 that's now as successful businesses. Others are still incubating, and we just ran the second challenge to feed that pipeline. Yeah.
Thank you. Probably in the future, there will be the results and how it has been implemented. It will give more hope to the others to join the program, right? It's a great program you have in place. Congratulations.
No, thank you. And like you say, I think by far is Paseka the star that I shared, where that registered 40 patents across the globe and busy with exporting. And yeah, that's one of the good examples that we have. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Congratulations for the great work. Okay, I think this concludes our session. And